I'd probably go right back to that example in Northern Ireland. So let me think of a different one. In Mozambique, UNICEF wanted to work at post-conflict trauma healing and also at conflict transformation throughout the provinces of Mozambique, and particularly focusing on children. So they recruited about a dozen, I shouldn't touch that, they recruited about a dozen artists from Maputo, the capital city. And these were artists, they were visual artists, they were dramatic artists, they were musicians, some of the top musicians in the country. They recruited them for a 2-year project to work at education by going around the country and presenting peace and trauma healing themes in the form of art and music. And this was in 1993. So, I mean, we're talking, this was incredibly cutting edge. I have a book that describes the experience, and John Paul mentions it in one of his books as an incredible example, again, planned entirely by UNICEF. But they needed Portuguese-speaking trainers, so I was brought there in 93 to work with this group of artists. And it was, to me, what was incredible was how they took some of the basic conflict transformation themes that we teach. And there was another person who came in with more of a trauma perspective, that's not my area. But the basic trauma and conflict themes that we teach, and they communicated them through their various mediums. So the ones I particularly remember were the songs and the theater productions, but there was also a lot of visual art going on. Incredibly talented folks. And so here again, we're civil society leaders in the country of Mozambique, then taking that out. This was a 2-year, $2 million project, going to every province in Mozambique. And some of the people who have studied the post-conflict phase in Mozambique also cite Circle de Paz, that's what it was called, Circle de Paz, as an example of helping a country transform from violent conflict to sustainable peace, because it was aimed at the grassroots. They wanted to get this message out throughout the provinces. Compare that to Angola, where I was there in 97, brief interlude between phases of the war, went right back into it, and really didn't emerge until about 2001, when Jonas Savimbi was killed, finally. Actually very similar to Sri Lanka. All of the efforts at peace weren't sustainable because they were only top level, unfortunately. They didn't reach deeper down into the society. So, best examples of leadership in supporting reconciliation and development post-conflict setting, I would use both Northern Ireland and Mozambique. And I would add, from what I've seen of it, Nepal, just not close enough to know, but my sense is that some really significant things are happening in Nepal now, where Joe Campbell is, who used to be in Northern Ireland. In fact, he is, picture of him here. He usually hides in the back, right there. That's Joe. He's now working in Nepal. Once they got Northern Ireland settled out, he wanted to go somewhere else, and doing the same kind of work there with many other, primarily Nepalese.